Yay. And we're live.
Right. So, how many times did you have to remind yourself today was not Monday?
At least 3.
Yeah, because I'm
It
saying
is the Monday-est Friday ever.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be like a 4-day weekend, isn't it? I mean, like,
yes, it is a holiday weekend.
Yeah.
Because, holidays and stuff.
And holidays, yeah. So barbecues and beaches, Christ. The unofficial beginning of summer, right? But it feels like a Monday.
I saw a meme that summed up summer for me, and it all makes perfect sense now.
What is it?
That none of us like summer. We all crave summer because as children, that was the only time we were given off. So it's programmed in us to look forward to the fucking summer when it's fucking miserable, and we all hate that shit.
As adults.
Yes.
As adults. Because we don't get a summer vacation.
No, we don't get a summer vacation, but for some reason it's still like, oh, it's summer.
Right.
Yay. Well, fuck you.
Well, but the ironic thing is that the original reason for summer vacation was around farming. So technically during that part, summer vacation was not a vacation because the kids were working on the farms. Like their parents needed them to work the farms during the summer. So that's why summer vacation, we just never got rid of it as a tradition.
Well, hey.
And then adults, we just don't get any summer vacation at all. It's like imagine getting 3 months mandatory vacation every year. You would think we were Europe.
Good morning, everyone. It is May 24th, 2024. And this is the Raging to the Vlogs. We do stuff on here.
Yes.
We provide you with history lessons, science lessons. We teach you how to do your taxes and snort fat lines of cocaine.
And it's all wrong.
You ready?
All wrong. Absolutely not, but hit it. What happened?
I hit the wrong button.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, but don't we need the bump anyway?
Trigger warning. Fuck you.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Now run them together. All right, there we go. Jesus, I'm just going to jump straight into Saturday.
Right, I know. Well, you see, you're still trying to remind yourself today's Friday. You see, even I had to stop myself. It's Friday, right?
Yes, it's
Friday. My goodness. So good morning, everyone. Happy brunch, I guess, to everybody. Having all the lukewarm sausages and shitty mimosas. Right. Welcome, everybody, to another Raging to the Vlogs show. And who's joining us in the chat today?
Ooh, we have Comics Net Australia. Hello. Allison McGlone. Good morning, Allison. And Rob Multori.
Hey, Rob.
Daddy.
Yeah. Wolf Dad. We're supposed to call
him. Wolf Dad, because Daddy makes us feel creepy.
Right. Remember, butt dial, booty call. 2 different things. Oh my goodness. And yes, I see you, my beautiful eyeball people, still waking up from regions beyond. If you're watching us from Facebook, if you're watching us from LinkedIn, come on over to YouTube, join the sexy people in the chat. And while you're here, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever any of our shows go live.
Rob's getting kinky in the chat.
Oh no. Oh, because he's getting used to it. He's getting used to it. That's what it is. Oh, my goodness. So, hello, everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. I'm not going to say it. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and you know what that means.
You don't understand. I ain't scared of you, motherfuckers.
And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which I should be getting my books today. Yeah, from the campaign. Yes, from the campaign. Yeah, that was fast. So so thank you everybody who pledged the previous campaign for Tears of the Mothers issues 1 through 6. So I'll probably be spending my holiday weekend packing books, and then Tuesday I have to remember that the post office is closed on Monday. Tuesday. So maybe Tuesday I will start sending books out. So wow, yeah. So thank you so much everybody for pledging. And I am also known for my medieval fantasy drama, Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which returns to Kickstarter June 10th with the release of Ego Raven Volume 2, which collects issues 5 through 8 of this 15-issue series. Oh my God, I still can't believe we're at that point already. I know. And yeah, so also keep an eye out. The link is in the show notes below. I'll put it in the chat. Actually, I could do that right now. Let me put the link to where is it? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, so now the link is in the chat. There's some special things coming up that I'm pretty sure you guys want to be signed up for this campaign and know when the campaign goes live on June 10th. So yeah, so keep an eye out for that. And in the meantime, you can read both my comics online at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, and Tall Tales. That's TAILS online.com. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lager, Lager, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. And to tell you more about it, here's Nita.
My name is Nita. I have the Indie Comics Network on YouTube. That just means I own a Google account.
All right.
Yeah. And it's indiecomicsnetwork.com. And we try to bring you weekly, daily, and sometimes buy and try daily comics, entertainment, and
wow,
and
it's getting wow.
Yeah.
And where can we find it?
indiecomicsnetwork.com.
It's .com.
That never grows old for me. So when the internet was a much more innocent place. But oh my goodness. So before we kind of like delve into, I don't know, it's like, so Nita, did you make up the topic just to fill up the title card, or is there something you want to get into?
No, we can always roll with that.
Right.
We can always, like, the blame game is a constant, non-stop thing, and we see it all the time. Why isn't my book selling? Because the titty covers. Why is my book not selling? Because the promoter. Why is my book not selling? It's, there's never that, this is an industry where people lack a lot of self-reflection and accountability.
Right.
So it can always be a topic.
Well, that's true. That's true. But before we get into that, couple of things. So as I mentioned, Ego Raven Volume 2 is going to be launching on June 10th. And in the past, I've spoken about how, it's like when you do as many campaigns, right? How do you make campaigns stand out more? Right? Especially it's like, because in the end, you have to realize that not all your campaigns are going to be winners, right? Not all your campaigns are going to perform the same, right? And especially if you're trying to build up excitement. Hey, Lou, build up excitement, for certain books. And there just comes a point where you have to decide that it's like not every campaign can be an event, but but which campaigns are the ones you put a little bit more effort in?
Trades.
Right.
Let me do the science. Trades.
Oh, trades. Yes. Yes. So I think that there's a certain agreement that individual issues we put out individual issues to build excitement for the trades, which means that the trades itself has to be some kind of event. It's the culmination of of the support that you got from the individual issues. You know, it's like, that's why you can't get rid of one or the other. You can't just do trades, and you can't just do individual issues. Right. So, you know, because it's in the end, it's two different audiences, but you also have that overlap. You have people who buy the individual issues, and then they want to get the trade because that's what they actually read. They put the individual issues away, and then the trade is what they actually read. So like I said, I have volume 2 coming up. And so I started doing a little preparation for it. You know, so it's like, okay, what can I do for this campaign? So because it's a trade paperback, right? One of the things that you know, I'm not going to do variant covers for a trade paperback. It's way I've seen people do it, but it's way too expensive for me to do it. So you just get the one cover, right?
Right.
But I do have 2 exclusive covers on this campaign. They're reprints of issue 1. So for people who want to pick, who like collecting individual issues, I will have 2 variant covers on reprints of issue 1 on the campaign. So we're going to have a brand new cover by Vicentia Lindsay going to be available on the campaign, and we're going to have it's kind of a reissue of a previous cover. A friend of ours, Matt Lunsford, he did a cover for me. It was based kind of like an X-Men homage cover.
Oh, the one.
And this time around, I got it recolored by another friend of ours, Champe, from, I think he's from Colombia. And you know, and it's just kind of, you know, and it's just a completely different vibe. It's amazing how coloring can change. Absolutely. Image,
right.
So so that's going to be offered up on the campaign. Well, so now it's going to be like a Matt Champe collaboration on the cover. So you get like 2 variant covers, reissues of issue 1 on the campaign. But some other things too, you know, because it's like even like I'm thinking about like the packaging that I want to offer for the campaign, for you to know. Like, I've seen people that they get the custom boxes made where it's all printed, and it's like, that's a little too extra for me. Like that just seems like a little bit too much, especially when it's something that people just throw away. Like, I know that there are people who do keep the boxes.
I'm like, no, we collect them.
Those boxes, right? So I don't know. It's a little too much for me, but I did think that the packaging needed to be different for the trade paperback. So going back to what I did, going back to what I did with the first volume, instead of using those U-line boxes that I usually use, I usually get, for the trade paperbacks, I get the white, like,
clamshells.
The white ones, because it just looks nicer. You know, you open up and there's a book inside. I don't know why it's different for me, right? This time around, I decided to try something. What could I do with that box? If I'm not going to get stuff printed on the box, what am I going to do?
Are you pimping your box?
No, I'm pimping my tape.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So, I decided this time around to try out some custom packing tape. I got this tape from Sticker Mule. It's 300 feet for $30. So I figured, let me try that out. I think it's gonna look really cute on the box. Don't you
Absolutely.
think?
Yeah, I do.
You know, I was just really, really happy when I got this. So I'm just gonna try this out, you know, just see how it looks. According to the maths, I should be able to do 170 boxes with this tape. So hopefully I just need one. But I think that it's so nice that, I don't know, it's like, I think I might be using this tape. I have to make one for Tall Tales, which would be really nice. Unfortunately, I can't get anything done in time to pack up this order. But definitely for the next Tall Tales trade, I'm going to do a separate tape for Tall Tales as well. I mean, because it's just, I mean, I don't know. I think it just kind of adds a little something.
It does.
You know, without
you got that Riz, Daphne. That's what
yeah,
the kids say
I
nowadays.
know. It's all the Riz.
All the Riz. God, I wish we had effects in here. I'd sparkle your ass up.
Oh, I know. And then they were so nice. They sent me a sponge.
Oh.
You know, and the good thing about it is that, you know, once I kind of figure out like how much tape I actually need, I can pre-cut the tape, and then I don't have to worry about getting like a separate machine. Although if I'm looking to use this tape for future campaigns, I might buy the machine that pre-wets the I think I found one for like $1. Like it pre-wets the tape. You know, oh boy. It can't take you anywhere.
I'm sorry.
So I thought that was like an interesting. I'm still playing around with the idea with resealable stickers. You know, like removable stickers for the back for the bags and boards.
Right.
You know, because I'm using washi tape right now, but
do the custom washi tape for the bag.
You know, you know what? I'm probably going to have
it with the Vines and the Ego Raven or Ego Works, and that way you can utilize it on either.
Right. You know, I'll talk to you after about because you said that you know somebody who does custom.
I don't know her. I stumbled across her, but she does have really good reviews on Etsy.
Okay. So probably I'll do that, you know, it's like, because it's like, then it's like, okay, so it's washi. I get to, you know, customize something, you know, just really simple. And then, you know, because I was looking at like removable Avery stickers or something, but I don't know. I just don't trust it when it says removable.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it's like, but yeah, it's like if I look into at least I know with washi tape, we know what washi tape is. We know how, you know.
We know what it will do.
Yeah, so I'll talk to you after that, after the show, about who that person is.
Well, we'll talk this evening or whatever, because I have, after the show, I got to bounce.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
Taking my baby out to birthday lunch.
Oh, there you go. Very nice. Very nice. Also, another exciting thing. The only problem, though, I can only show so much of this, unfortunately.
Let's see it.
Got it today.
What is it? Oh,
I got my proof for the first House of Bob sketchbook, and I cannot open this book. I cannot. Let me show you. Let me show you a little bit. Let me show you a little bit. So look at that. I made a little end paper here, and and it's very, very nice looking. How can I do this?
Just do it. Just do it, Lage. Just do it. We don't care.
Okay. One time. I mean, just to give you a little hint. So, but yeah, I'm really happy with.
I am digging that. That looks so much cooler than the previous covers.
Right? Yeah. You know, I mean, it's yeah. I can't open this.
Yeah.
So yes. So after so later on this year, I'm going to be doing a campaign for House of Bob, the first sketchbook. And honestly, this is the format I'm going to be sticking with. Before, I was just using more like an Ashcan type style format. And I want to finally put out all of the artwork that I have and then some, and then it's like actually create more sketchbooks. So I think this is it. I just have to do some minor changes on it. I just have to change the interiors a bit, just really minor changes, because I originally didn't mean it for it to be perfect bound, but look, it just looks so good.
It does. It looks great.
That this is going to be the format. There's a companion book that I'm still putting together. I have to color the cover of the two pieces that go on the cover and the back cover, and it's going to be the same format. It's going to be square bound, and I think that from now on, it's like I think that this is what House of Bob is going to look like. The sketchbook.
It works.
I think so too. I was really happy. Like I said, I just have to do some minor changes, but it's minor. It's minor. It's only because all I have to do is there's a line on the back that I don't know where that came from. I didn't see it in the proof. So I just have to figure out where that line is coming from and fix it. And then I just have to shift all the pages over to make up for the perfect bound. Because like I said, originally this was supposed to be like comic sized, and kind of at the last minute, I decided I was going to do a different format. And I'm really happy with this. Like, I think I'm glad that I changed my mind about doing it like a comic book. And it's like, nah, you know what? This looks really nice. So I'm really happy with getting that proof. Den says it reminds me of an RPG source book in a way, but it's square bound. It would be cool in the shelf in the comic book store. Well, I don't know if a comic book store, if they're
I don't know if they'll take it, but
these books anymore. I mean, because I remember back in the day that they had that section in the back just for the adult books and adult comics. And yeah, but I haven't seen them in a while. Like even Midtown,
we're frowned upon lately.
Yeah, I know. Everybody wants to be all family friendly and shit. But yeah, no, this
kids.
This looks, yeah, but this is gonna look nice on a shelf, you know, and yeah, I just like the way it feels. I'm really happy with the interior with this stuff. I'm really happy.
I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
You know, so yeah, so later on this year, of course, when the pre-launch page goes live, I'm still putting together the campaign. With the hard copy, it'll be easier for me to put together the campaign. So I'm actually pumped. It came out a lot better than I expected.
It looks really good.
So
it looks really good.
I'm very, very happy with that. Also, one more thing. So for those of you who haven't, clicked the link on in the chat to my pre-launch page, go do that. And then while you're at it, after you hit the pre-launch page, I want you all to go to the Nightwolf campaign, and I want you to pledge to Nightwolf as well, because.
And why is that? What you got?
Well, because me and Rob have something up our sleeves. We have something up our sleeves when it comes to our campaigns, and I'm going to put Rob's campaign in the chat.
You and the Wolf Daddy made a beautiful bastard baby.
Well, I had the bastard already. I just brought him to the party. So for those of you who could do the maths, actually I did the maths when I was pledging to his campaign and realized when his campaign was ending. Rob's the Nightwolf Volume 2 campaign ends exactly when my campaign for Eagle Raven Volume 2 starts. So for 96 hours.
There's a 4-day overlap.
4 day. Okay. There's a 4-day overlap when his campaign ends at the same time my starts. So we have a 4-day overlap on our campaigns.
Right.
And for those of you who are keeping track, if you pledge in that, you will have 96 hours only to pledge to both of our campaigns, physical level. Although you know what, I think I'm going to make this available to people, for people who do digital orders too. But you know what, the good stuff is going to be in the physical order. The good stuff. So if you want to do a physical pledge on both our campaigns in that 96 hours, I'm going to send everybody who pledges to both our campaigns something. What? Just a little something. just a little something, but that's part of it though. That's one part of it. I will have, because when I showed this on my Facebook, both Rob and Nita said that should be a sticker.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's going to be. Nice. So if you pledge to both our campaigns, physical tiers, if you pledge to in that 96 hours, when his is ending and mine is beginning, not only will you get a special crossover print, you featuring Ego Raven and Nightwolf, you will also get this sticker of Wolf Son Loki and Snowpaw being mad at something. They're mad at something. But right now they're mad at you for not pledging to Nightwolf and signing up for Ego Raven. So you go do that. You go do that. I put the link to Nightwolf in the chat. Also, Ego Raven is also in the chat as well. So yeah, so if you pledge to both of our campaigns, you know, I mean, you can pledge now to Nightwolf, and then when my campaign goes live, you pledge. I'll probably just be asking everybody what their backer number is on Nightwolf, and then you'll get the extra print and the sticker just for supporting both of our campaigns. So I think that's pretty exciting. I think that's exciting. Yeah. So, because I don't know, and then it's like because I think it's important. I think it's important for us to help each other out and have fun doing it.
Right.
Especially have fun doing it, because I bought my copy of Nightwolf. Well, you do. So why haven't you? So so I think that it's important to just have fun with everybody. Because sometimes it does amaze me like how some people, they take doing this so seriously. It's like, it makes me wonder if they're even enjoying themselves.
I mean, I take it seriously because like we also, I don't like either extreme. I don't like the people that are business. And but I also don't like, it's not that I don't like the hobbyist. I feel like the hobbyists don't take shit seriously enough sometimes. And it's like, some of us depend on this for a paycheck, and some of us, and some of us just are spending money doing it.
Right.
Like, it's weird. It's complicated.
Right. But it's like, but there's just okay. Because there's something that I read yesterday that someone had said, I don't know who this person was. They had said that they would rather buy a 5 out of 10 book from a 9 out of 10 person than buy a 9 out of 10 book from a 5 out of 10 person.
Does that make sense? No, that makes perfect sense. I totally get that. I'd rather support a mid-level fucking book by a person who's genuine than a top-tier book by an asshole.
Right. Yeah. I mean, to put it bluntly, right?
Yeah.
To put it bluntly.
Simplify things. That's my job.
Right. So hold on. It's like it's so hot in here. I'm sliding off of my chair. Hold on. Let me put my towels down. Hold on. I'm wearing shorts.
Wait, you're wearing something?
Right, I'm wearing. Yeah, it's like, because what is it? It's what is it? It's like 80 something degrees in here. 81 degrees in the office. So yeah, so they had brought up the thing about, because there's people who kind of really push back on the idea that your personality is as much part of your brand, especially nowadays.
Oh, it absolutely
your personality is as much part of your brand as your book is.
Right. It used to not matter. That's why we love Stephen King and we love Dan Brown. And that, but then we learn things, and then your personality is
your personality is
equally
just
as important
much,
as your craft.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it was kind of different in the past when it's like we would only see people like pretty much once a year at conventions. Right. And it's like, maybe you had to like mail order books, but it's like there wasn't like this constant, interaction. There wasn't like this constant interaction, right? So so if your favorite person was acting like a complete dork, it was very possible for you to never know, right? But now it's like, I've seen behavior online that it's like, it just reminds me of that Mike Tyson quote,
about people not being punched in the mouth.
Right. Yeah. The way, something like that, that it's like, it's very obvious, the way people be talking online. Jose says it's better to buy a good book from a creator I don't know. That's the catch, right? If you don't know them,
right? But nowadays, especially in independent
growing up,
circles,
we knew none of the creators, and sometimes it would be better. You can judge the work without judging the creator. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's like when we only saw people like once a year, and then never heard from them again until they would have to act up at a convention.
Right,
for you to know anything, right? And we've seen that.
Oh, I have too.
We have seen that. Ooh. Let's just say that I have never been able to look at Nana Visitor the same way again. But
wait, whoa. No. Do tell. No, seriously. Do tell. What happened?
Okay, so it was a convention run by a guy who murdered his wife and went to prison. So it was that convention. But that wasn't okay.
Okay.
You see that, but that's what it is, right? It took a while for these stories to come out.
Right.
You could murder your wife for years
and run a con
and run a convention until people found out you murdered your wife and had to go to prison. So
the good old days.
So there was this one convention we were at, and I was sitting we were at an angle, and we were sitting across from Bryan Singer and Nana Visitor, right? So Bryan Singer, sweetest guy, I swear, it's just like you couldn't meet a nicer person, right?
Right.
Nana Visitor, who you don't know, she was on Deep Space Nine. Right. I forgot the character. Kira,
Major Kira.
Kira. Right. Yeah. She wasn't even at the show for like 10 minutes, where she had the most violent blow up on her phone I have ever seen. Like, it was just like even Mark Singer was just like, oh my God, and it was like she was screaming on that phone longer than she was at the convention.
Holy shit, bro.
Like, I don't know if she, like, I couldn't get any context clues from what she was saying. And mind you could hear it. She was, it's like, maybe she was talking to an agent, maybe she was talking to an attorney. I don't know. But she had this really crazy blow up. Right. And then just as soon as she was in, she was out there. I mean, it's like, she was just packing her shit up and left the convention.
Holy crap.
And to this day, every time I see her, when Jose watches Deep Space Nine, I keep going, yeah, I wonder what happened that day. Every time I see her, I
love me some Deep Space Nine.
I wonder what happened that day. To this day, I remember that. Right. So, so it's like, yeah, like shit had to happen at a convention in front of you. Ooh. You don't threaten RoboCop. So it had to happen at a convention.
Right.
But now you have everybody acting up
online.
Well, not everybody. Not everybody.
But it's the loud dogs.
But it's like that. They're just like I remember that there was this, because it's like, look, I told so they had said the whole thing about that I would rather buy a mid book by a good person than a good book from a mid person, I guess, from a shitty person. And I've written off creators for less. I have. I mean, it's that. Like there's a whole crew of professionals that I wrote off. This was years ago that they decided as a group. There was this cartoonist who got a book deal, right? He worked at BuzzFeed. He finally it was his first book deal. And I guess these these artists who worked at Marvel. They did covers. I don't know what the fuck they did. I don't remember what they did anymore. Right? For some reason, collectively, they got salty at this guy getting a book deal. Like, and they decided that they were going to, as a group, just completely dogpile this guy and goof on his artwork. Oh, you have same face syndrome and this on the other thing. It's just the same cartoon over and over again. Yeah, as if dinosaur comics didn't exist. And it was just like really ugly, especially since I was a fan of the other guy too. And it was just like completely unnecessary. And it's like to this day, I see them and all I think about is that thing that they decided to do like years ago. Because, it's like they couldn't spend $0 minding their own business. They had to put it out there, right? And then it's like there's all like these different, so not even like so-called professionals are immune to this behavior. And it's like, yeah, and it's just like, do you want people, you see, because what's funny is that the people who usually fight back against this idea the most are the ones like they say that, oh, you should be buying my book for my book. You should be buying it for my book, not my personality, right? But these are the same people that all you remember them for is their personality.
Right.
Which is ironic because it's like, oh, congratulations. Whether you wanted to or not, you just made being an asshole your brand. And whether that was your intention or not, it doesn't matter. That's what I remember you for. And because of that, I'm not buying your book. Right. If being an asshole is the first thing that I remember you for, why would I care about your book? You could have a fucking Arthur Adams cover on it. You could have gotten Arthur Adams to do that book. And I'm like, yeah, but you're a dick. Why am I going to give you money? Why am I going to give you my money? Right. And the thing is, and it's not just that either, because if you're an Eeyore type, that doesn't help either. Den goes, on the plus size, Deep Space Nine was a great show and joined the overall audience in a different way from now, in my opinion.
Oh,
do you
absolutely.
think there's a lack of professionalism now, or has it always been?
Always been. It's just
it's just that now we see it. I don't want to think, because like in the past, right, publishers literally had clauses in their contracts that, you're not supposed to act like this in public. You're representing the publisher. I mean, even old Hollywood contracts, it's like they controlled the actor. Like you are not allowed to act a certain way in public because you're representing us. You are the product that we're selling. And you have to act a certain way.
I have certain clients who have clauses of how I can and cannot engage on their post.
Right. So there you go. But that's not new. This is not something recent. There's always been variations of it. Right. It's like there's been variations of scandal clauses in contracts. Now I don't know if they're doing it now. I mean, because it's like, unfortunately, now there seems to be the idea that it's like, well, any publicity is good publicity.
It's not.
And it's not really. I mean, I don't think it's just that the internet has made it a lot easier. Well, right. Yeah. That's, yeah. So it's just the internet's just making it a lot easier. For Allison says, every business I have ever worked for has a code of business conduct. Yeah. There have been celebrities who've lost lucrative contracts because the corporation would tell them, don't act up online. No, I'm going to act up online. And then it's like, well, you just blew your bag. I mean, there's, and then it's like, it's like, and that's standard practice.
Right.
It's just that the internet, especially since it's given us this, it's created a more intense parasocial relationship between each other.
Right.
That it's like, even if I don't know you, if I see you acting up a certain way, it's like, well, I don't need to know you definitely now.
Right.
You know, I don't need to spend my money on you. You know, but like I said, it's not even sometimes about, oh, being a dick online. Sometimes just being like, there are people who make, I don't know, being depressed their personality.
Oh my God, the pity
right?
fuck post. Jesus
Right.
Christ.
You know, where it's like they put out a book and instead of getting people excited about it, they do the opposite. Oh, no one's going to buy this. You know, why do I even bother? This, you know, it's like
fucking Eeyore on Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
you know,
let me mute you for 30 fucking
right,
days.
You know, so that kind of thing, you know, doesn't really work either. You know, it's not like, you know, now mind you, there are people who have turned it into a shtick that works.
Right.
You know, so your mileage may vary, but the thing is, though, most of the time, people are just going to either mute you or write you off.
Right.
You know, and especially, I guess, when dealing with like the topic that like I said, Nita usually then goes more intense parasocial relationship. That's a really good way to phrase that phenomenon. Yeah, it's yeah, it really is. You know, I kind of it does make me miss the days where we only met people at conventions.
What? I usually what?
Huh?
You said Nita usually like.
Oh
what?
no, no, I didn't mention your name.
Oh.
I think it was just a jumble. Okay. It sounded like it, but no.
Okay, good.
But yeah, I missed the days that I just saw people at conventions.
Right.
You know, and also there's like another personality where it's like what Nita says, their campaign doesn't do well, and then they're writing these screeds as to why it's everybody else's fault.
Oh yeah.
Why their book didn't do well.
Right.
You know, oh, it's because Polito exists. You know, or something. I mean, to pretty much, you know, boil it down. Oh, it's because this person did a campaign, or that person did a campaign, or the market is oversaturated,
or I'm shadow banned, or whatever.
Right,
and I'm not saying that shit doesn't happen, and I'm
right.
not saying that Polito going live cannot affect someone else's numbers when it comes to somebody having to choose. But Jesus, man, at the fucking end of the day, no, that's not it.
You know? But it's like what is that supposed to do? It's like what am I supposed to do with that information, you know, as somebody who might be interested in your book?
Nothing.
You know, because it's like all that's telling me, it's like you spend more time complaining about how your book is doing than actually talking about your book, you know. And then it's like, and then it gets to a point where there are certain creators like, oh yeah, I know you more for complaining online than actually pushing your book. So,
right.
You know, again, you may not want to believe that your personality is your brand. You can push back on that all you want, but
your personality is a major factor in your brand,
whether you want it or not.
Right.
You know, because it's like, you know, you're in the online space and where it's the equivalent of, it's like, oh, blame everyone else. That's a trait that I've seen and agree. It's honestly hard for me to comprehend. Well, yeah, because it's a lot easier, because then you don't have to look at what you're doing. Art Victim says, I've read and heard many artist-centered articles about how the famous artists of history are always known more for their interesting nature than for their work.
And they weren't on the internet blasting it daily.
Right. Yeah. So imagine like what you had to do for people to know you for your personality back then, right? Oh, what did Melissa say? What did bring that back up? It's the old adage, you have the audience you deserve. Oh, snaps. Put in the time and effort and make a good comic, and that will take you farther than this other nonsense. Yeah, you have the wow, that almost sounds like a curse. May you get the audience you deserve. Ooh. I hope you succeed at what you're doing. Oh my goodness.
On you.
Right. No, so to kind of like dovetail it into something a little bit more constructive. Okay. So I was cleaning out my it's been a while because I could never find it. The Facebook. Oh, I'm not gonna cut my ear off, but yeah. I'll go more into Da Vinci's Notebook route. Yeah. writing backwards and in Latin, right? A quirky fellow, that Da Vinci. And his silly whirlywigs, and so I was cleaning out my Facebook save, like bookmarks.
Right.
Because you can actually save posts you want to read later, but I could never find where Facebook
where it stores them, right? And I work with them and I can't figure out Facebook.
Because when I needed it the last time, I couldn't find it. And it's like, so this time I finally looked it up. It's like, okay, where is it? And then it shows, and then it's like, so it shows me, it's like, oh, here are all my articles that I saved. It's so much garbage in there because information becomes outdated so quickly.
It really does.
So I was looking through it and I came across this one that it's like, oh, this is interesting. This is kind of like related, kind of related to the topic. Because hold on, let me just see if I can open. Hold on, let me see if I can open this up without kicking myself out of StreamYard.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, here it is. Because the one thing that I've always found funny, not in a haha kind of way, right? How many creators actually don't like talking about their books?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's crazy.
It's like ask them to pitch and all of a sudden they don't even remember that they're comic book creators.
Right. It's insane.
And it's just really funny that for a bunch of people who also like to talk about that they're going to sell their shit to Netflix, that they don't know how to talk about their shit for anything. Again, the other irony, right? A lot
they
of
could
times,
tell you all about the add-ons. They could tell you about
times,
it's like this but different. And
that we see campaigns where they're talking about everything else but the book.
Right.
And it's like, look, I understand that you're expecting people to look down, into the feed. It's like, oh, what is this book about? But the thing is, though, it's like that kind of, you're making the audience work too hard, right? So it's like when you read a lot about marketing, right? The whole idea is to be able to sell your product. You're the one that's supposed to do all the work.
Right.
The less you make your audience think about your work, the more likely you can get them to agree with you to buy your stuff. It's just as much psychology as anything else, right? It's a thing that I've always talked about, that there was no point for me to put my stuff on Webtoons if I know for a fact that audience is mostly kids reading comics for free. How am I going to sell my book to an audience that wants things for free? So what's the next thing? Well, what's better than free? How convenient is it to buy it?
Right.
So what do these people also have? They probably have an Amazon account, right? So it's like that's kind of like my train of thought. How do I lessen the resistance between the customer and what it is I'm trying to get them to buy? Knowing what it is that, kind of like knowing enough about how they work, right? So there's no point in me being on Webtoons if I'm also not on Amazon.
Right.
That I can't say you can buy my stuff on Amazon, right? There's no point. It doesn't, well, Melissa says it can happen. Well, already popular Webtoon comics.
Right.
You see, that's the thing. That's, it's kind of like saying Polito sells really well.
Well, but they also, with the Webtoons, you also have to consider they're coming out with a shit ton of content too, because they're going on there with 200 plus pages sometimes.
Right.
And so, yeah, people are going to jump on that because it feels like it's worth your buck if you're getting a book this guy.
And here's the thing: I'm not going to compare. Like, I'm not going to put like most people. But the thing is, most people don't do that.
No, they don't.
Are you? You know what? Marketing done right can be confused for the Force or the Voice if you want to use a Dune reference.
No, I do not.
Marketing research I have to double check this information. But marketing, the whole concept of like marketing research was actually founded by Sigmund Freud's brother. So think about that for a second. You have the father of psychiatry, psychology, right? And he had a brother who decided to use that for evil. You know? That he was the one that started bringing up the concept of using psychology in advertising. So yeah, it is kind of, you're doing a Jedi mind trick on people, right? So if you do it correctly, because the trick is that your customer thinks they made the decision to buy your book, for your stuff. Right. They made the decision on their own to buy Coke instead of Dr. Pepper. Right? Because nobody wants Pepsi. So there was this article that I saw. Okay, so this one, it's like the name of this is from Chris Oatley, who I'm not familiar with his work, but he worked at Disney. Mm-hmm. And I guess he sells comics too. He does comics too. I'm not familiar with him. This article was from back to 2012. And the title is How to Lose a Fan in 10 Seconds, The Common Flaws of a Comic-Con Pitch. So this is specifically for conventions. Actually, let me bring it up so everybody can see it. Right. So this is the article that I had bookmarked. In my Facebook thing. So like I said, it's from 2012, but I don't think the information is that outrageous, is that out of style, right? I don't think it's changed that much.
It's evergreen,
you know? So let's see. The common flaws of the Comic-Con pitch. Number one, the pitch starts with genre generalizations. It's a sci-fi thriller set in the future. Or the barely more specific, it's a film noir with aliens. Or the one that I like to joke about, it's like Batman, but different. You know? It's like that. Okay, it's like, this is a terrible way to start because we've all seen sci-fi thrillers, even film noirs with aliens. Don't make your original comic more generic by reducing it in this way. Right? Which is kind of, I don't know. It's kind of counterintuitive because you would think that by kind of like, you know, like pleading to the generic, more people will be kind of like more interested. Like, oh, well, I like that. But I guess that's because I've also heard that's like, no, that's not really the case. Because if you go too generic, then even if someone like enjoys, it's like, oh yeah, but I know Star Wars already. Why would I want to read your thing, right? But that's how he goes, you know. But I guess that's kind of like the thought that he's going by. That's like, it's too generic. You want to be able to stand out. But conversely, the pitch is bloated with world building and technobabble. So there are these guys called the flim-flams, and they can walk through walls, but only if they have their whatever is set to gamma pulse mode or whatever. If the words mean nothing to someone who is not yet in love with your comic, ditch the world building and technobabble in favor of something we can relate to. Because that's also, it's like this is info dumping on your audience who's not ready for the information yet.
Right.
So it's like, again, it's like you want to simplify in a way that still allows your comic to stand out from everybody else. Like it's like Batman, but different. While that it's reductionist, to my mind at least, I would think specifics is better. Well, yeah, absolutely. But that's what it is. You want to do specifics because one of the books that Jose enjoys, I keep forgetting the name of it, but it's literally a Batman but different book, except that what if Batman were a mouse?
Right.
And this is a book that he reads and enjoys. I forgot the title. Keep forgetting the title. I keep talking about this book and I keep forgetting the title. But, you know, it has to, the information, yeah, it's like you want to stand out from everybody else who's able to do the same shtick, So yeah, but don't go in the opposite direction and go too specific to your story, again, with the info dumping and the techno babble and the world building when you haven't even hooked in that reader yet. And then they talk about the pitch is just a fast forward version of the plot. This is not a pitch. It's an abridgment, a synopsis. You need a way to share the heart of the story and the potential for plot. You shouldn't just start blandly explaining the plot scene by scene. I have seen people literally pick up their own books and explain the book page by page.
Oh, I hate that shit.
I have literally seen that. I have literally seen that. And it's
like well, I will be standing in front of you at a con and be like, oh, I gotta go pee.
Right.
And never come back.
Right.
Never
it's like, I don't need to buy the book anymore. You just told me everything. And because of that, like you've completely killed you're not giving the person at your table, you're not giving them the opportunity to actually find your book interesting. You're just explaining line by line. You're explaining the joke to them. And now they have no reason to pick up your book. Right. Because, you gotta, it's kind of like, the thing that people complain about, with sexy covers. Oh, it's like, there's no fantasy. You're not leaving anything to the imagination,
Well,
and
there's something not creative enough,
but there's something to that, right?
Right.
There's something to that.
Right.
Another thing that he talked about, you can't pitch with the book in hand. This one's actually pretty funny. You don't know the heart of your story, so you just start pointing to the art. When you're talking about your campaign, remember this. This often goes hand in hand with the abridgment pitch. And plus, what if you don't have your book with you when you need to pitch? You should be able to convey the heart of your story and the potential for plot without any visual aids. Of course, you should show and tell with the book when it's appropriate to do so, but your pitch should stand on its own. And also, I think this predates Kickstarter too. I think he's literally just talking about I don't think 2012, I think Kickstarter, I think was maybe just starting around, or did it start around 2014, 2015? So, so he's talking about, can you pitch your book without your book? Can you sell your book without showing people the artwork? Can you garner interest? Because this is what authors have to do all the time. They don't have, artwork they could just point to. It's like, oh, it's like, well, what's your book about? Even when they're spending thousands of dollars on a cover, people still need to know what your book is about, right? So it's the same thing. And also I found this one funny too. Your nerves psych you out, where you're just a jumbly mess trying to talk about your book. Your words fail you. You have that. It's like, who wants to listen to somebody like that? It's like, you know what? It's like, how can you not even talk about your book? Right. That's why I say cue cards. I always use cue cards. There's no shame in using cue cards.
Right.
It's like at Baltimore Comic-Con, I had my pitch cue. Not that I needed it because nobody was there. I had my pitch cue cards behind my table. So there was no need for me to forget anything because it was written down. And have different variations. Now, in this case, he started to use Back to the Future as an example of how to, how you can change your pitch to be, to be more useful, right? So 4 steps to finding the heart of your story, right? Find the human point of view, right? So in this case, using Back to the Future as an example, Marty McFly is a teenage son of an alcoholic mother and pushover father. He has the potential to be successful, responsible family man, but his rebellious tendencies could completely wreck his future. When Marty is sent back in time 30 years, his own mother falls in love with him instead of his dad, and unless Marty can get them to fall in love, he will be erased from existence. For somebody who actually doesn't even enjoy the movie Back to the Future, that's a really compelling story. That's actually pretty compelling. They made it really they made it sound compelling. I don't like the movie, but that just goes to show you,
right.
you know, like what it is you're trying to find in your story, right? And this isn't a summary. He's not going scene by scene. You know, it's it's the heart of the story. Like, why would the person at your table care about your story, right? And again, avoid the world building, technobabble, genre generalizations. Again, why do we care? Technobabble is not something people can access unless the terminology already means something to them. You know, notice how I made no mention of the DeLorean time machine, time paradoxes, 88 miles per hour, or the flux capacitor, right? Nobody cares. It's you know, if your story, it's like if they had started talking about Back to the Future, who would the fuck would want to watch? It's like, what the fuck does all this mean?
Right.
It doesn't mean anything, right? Because there's no context to it. Well, what's the story, right? Avoid details only fans understand, and don't attempt to define or translate them within the pitch themselves. And then focus on the character. Who is the character? What is their passion? How are they flawed? Why do they care? The character story is what makes people care. It what engages your audience's emotions, right? Again, talking about stripping away what gets in the way of your customer wanting your book. The technobabble gets in the way. Being too generic gets in the way. How do you strip that? How do you take that out of the way of the customer so that they go, you know, that sounds really interesting? You know? I blame everyone but me. What are we blaming people for? Insoles. Always have good insoles.
Throw your link in the chat, Mike.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. And then so it's like, and then 4, keep it short but open for conversation. This is where it gets a little tricky because you have to know your story enough that you're able to ad lib depending on what you're being asked.
Right.
You know, 1 to 3 sentences, 1 to 3 sentences. 2 is good. If the pitch is interesting enough and they're interested, they'll ask you questions. And even if they don't, but they're still interested, you can just take them through the first sentence. But the context is already there with the pitch, so they'll be tracking with you. Don't just tell a fast version of the plot. Just communicate the story's heart and potential for plot. And then I guess he goes, unfortunately, the free cheat sheet that he has, doesn't exist anymore. We can put the article in the chat if you want to use it for reference, but the links don't really work anymore. That's how old it is. But I mean, I guess the article itself could be a cheat sheet.
Okay, but it's not because, so here's the deal. A cheat sheet gives you the answers. This tells you what not to do.
Right. And to think about, so unfortunately there is no cheat sheet for this. You know, so it's like Dan says a good synopsis is good to get to the point unless they are D&D players. But even then, your points have to make a lot of sense. Making room for talking in the moment. That's a good skill to have. The heart of the story or essence of the story. That works. Right. So it's like, this is what it all kind of like boils down to, right? So this way, the more you know your story, which is a very strange thing to say, right? But too many of you don't know how to talk about your books. And what happens is that it becomes easier to build your brand on your personality for good or bad because you don't know how to talk about your book.
Right.
You know, and having and spitting out some kind of like random phrase or random word that you think relates to your book. Look, unless we know what it is, nobody cares. You know, I mean, it's, you know, so it's like, so this is something that I've always tried to work on. It's like, what if someone is seeing your book for the first time? Forget your fans. Right? Because it's always going to be easier to talk to people who know your books already. You know, that's when you can talk about, you know, your add-ons and the artwork that you got, and this artist is on here. Your fans already know this stuff. But what if someone's seeing your stuff for the first time? How do you talk to them about your book? right?
Right.
How do you talk about how do you start? How do you start? It's like, so what's your book about? Well, what if instead of a knight saving a princess from dragons, the princess has to become a knight to save herself and her kingdom?
Huh.
Right? It's like, well, oh, what that okay, what's your book about? Now, mind you, it's like I'm always changing this, right? So it's like, oh, so what's your book about? So, well, Eager Raven is a story of a unicorn princess exiled into the mortal realm after she's betrayed by her elf prince husband-to-be and dragons overtake her kingdom. Right? I can technically stop there, right? So what else happens? Well, when Eager Raven becomes an unwitting pawn in a noblewoman's attempt to avoid an arranged marriage, she trains to become a knight with the help of an unlikely trio of blacksmiths, hoping she could ultimately win a king's favor and save her people.
Nice.
Right? I mean, it's like, and this is all off of a cue card. I literally have this open. If you have problems memorizing this, cue cards, there's nothing wrong with cue cards, okay? Because the less you stumble, the more it's like you just want to sound confident about your own book, right? So then it's like, what's the next question? Well, what is this Kickstarter about? Well, this is for my second volume. Volume 2 collects issues 4 through 8 of this 15-issue story arc, right? And in this volume, Eager Raven finds herself on the road to knighthood as her wins on the tournament circuit leads to the finals held in the royal capital of Turnham, right? A little bit of world building, but not enough to confuse anybody, because I do mention that it is the capital. But hurdles come inside of the arena and out, as not only does her competitors conspire against her, but an enemy from her past returns. Right? That's, it's like, so that is more specific to the volume. So I have my opening line, right? I have my overall story blurb, I guess, right? And then I have something more specific, right, to the volume 2, right? But it's like, but what, it's like, but what if somebody really did just want the generics, right? We were talking about how novelists are using trope lists, right? Right. So, but what if somebody wanted something specific? Well, what kind of book is this? Well, it's a classic hero's journey with a soap opera twist, featuring character relationship centered stories in a fantasy settings with unicorns, elves, dragons, and furries. And especially when it comes to the Kickstarter, it's complete and it's ready to print and ship. All we have to do is finish the campaign. Once the campaign is done, the books get sent, the files get sent to the printer, and within like 2 to 3 weeks, shipping starts on the book. Right. So that tells them that, especially for a campaign, that, they don't have to wait that long. It's like, yes, it's a pre-order.
That they're going to get what they pay for.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what I even have an even shorter version of this, like bullet points. What if you just needed bullet points? So what's Eager Raven about? It's about an exiled unicorn princess, a trio of blacksmiths training her to become a knight, an elf prince on a rampage, an ensemble cast including unicorns, elves, dragons, and furries, a 15-issue character-centered fantasy drama comic series, complete, ready to print and ship.
And 6
later. Link in bio. So it's like, so what you want to do is you want to have like different variations. You want to go kind of like from, like, think of it as like an upside down triangle. Don't get too generic, but you want to open up your story, describing your story in a way to suck them in so that you get more and more and more and more specific as they're asking you questions.
Right.
And also you want to be able to kind of like shoot things off if people just like, well, what's the high and the low of it? What's the too long didn't read?
Right.
It's like, and then maybe the generics would, but you don't want to get too generic. Again, it's like I open up, it's princess night, you know.
And that's why it's important to make the different style posting.
Right. Yeah.
Because you don't know whose attention with a con, you can tell because you have that engagement with the individual. We don't have that on social media.
Yeah.
That's why you have to have your long form, your short form, your fucking blog post, your like, and switch it up because you don't know who's coming across what.
Right. Yeah. You know, I mean, really, it's like, even though the advice came from somebody that I wouldn't even asked anything of, you know, like it was this really stuck in my head. What if someone was looking at your stuff for the first time?
Right.
You know, how many barriers to entry are there between that person and them picking up your book?
Right.
And in the end, that's what the pitch, I guess, is what the pitch is that you're removing barriers to entry.
Right.
You know, and you want people to pick up. If your goal is to have people love your book, make them love your book. Right? If you want people to know about your book, and
open it up and let them enter.
Yeah. Talk about your book. Be excited about your book. There was another thing the guy had said, that it's like a healthy comic book marketplace has people excited for every issue you put out. How excited are you about your own book?
Right.
Because it's like, I'm more likely to be excited for a book if I see that the creator's excited for it.
Absolutely.
Like, oh yeah, my second issue, my third issue, my second volume is coming out.
If you don't even like your shit, why would I?
Right, exactly. But if you're going to be a miserable bastard online and you're going to make people associate that with your book, why should I care?
Right.
Right? If you're that miserable selling your book, why would I want to be miserable buying, you know, and reading your book? Why are you purposefully putting that barrier in front of your audience?
Right.
That's what I don't understand. It's like, okay, it's like, you know, it's like every time you blame somebody, oh, my sales did this because of that. That's a barrier.
Right.
Right. Oh, that person had a campaign. Oh, this type of book is popular. Or it's like, and I'm not doing that. It's like, that's another barrier. You know, that it's like the more of these, you know, it's like, oh, I'm just going to bitch about whatever. Hot takes. That's another barrier. You're not even talking about your book at this point.
Nope.
Why am I going to buy a book from a creator who won't talk about their book?
Huh.
Who won't tell me what their book is about, who won't give me a reason to give a shit? Why am I going to buy that book? Right? Not. You know? So it's like, so yeah, so, you know, so it's like, yeah, so it's like, if you want people to be excited about your book, make them excited about your book. The only person who could be more excited for your book is you. And that reflects, you know?
Right.
I mean, yeah, and some parts of it are practiced, and some parts of it you just forever need on cue cards, like I have right here on my screen. I have all my shit on my cue cards, and then it's like whenever I come up with a new, like something that I see kind of resonates with people, like a new phrasing for something, I write that down too.
Right.
You know, so it's like, so especially in convention season, and you're at conventions and you're talking about your book, pay attention as to what people are reacting to. Which pitch people are reacting to, which verbiage, what verbiage you're using that people are reacting to, right? To this day, I still describe Tall Tales as what if Lord of the Rings if done by Disney? Because it makes people laugh. The concept makes people laugh. Like, what would that look like? Oh, let me tell you. You know, I mean, even though it's kind of like the comparison generic thing that they're kind of, it's like, it depends on the reaction that you get, right? So pay attention to what you're saying and how people are reacting to it. And the more also, there was another thing too, a little psychology. Never ask questions to your customer that gives them the option to say no. Right? So it's like, you know, it's like, yeah, I don't remember the specifics, but it's like you always
choice.
But that's part of the psychology of it.
Right.
So it's like, so are you enjoying the show?
Yeah, you are, bitch.
Yeah, you enjoying the show? Yeah. It's like, do you really like fantasy comics? It's like, would you like it's like, or something. It's like, because they say, like, always, like never ask and the thing is, the nodding of the head, that was something that they also mentioned, that if you nod your head when asking questions, people are more likely to answer yes. They're more likely to agree with what you're saying if you nod your head while asking questions to them, right? And also never ask closed questions. So it's like, so never ask a question that allows them, it's either yes or no, right? You want to encourage them to say yes, so you want to take away their option to say no. So you ask questions that always lead to a yes, that you can tell from the visual cues. Oh, are you enjoying yourself? Yes, I am. It's like, oh, so you're over here. Is there something on the table that is attracting your attention that you're over here? It's like, oh, you like fantasy books? Oh yeah. It's like, so what kind of fantasy books do you like? Do you like unicorns? Do you like books? Did you like Acorna? Do you like, I mean, it's like, do you like all these other types of books? Like, oh, do you like, that, it's like whatever you can kind of get that conversation leaning. You want to push people in the direction. Remember, it's like you're removing the barriers, It's like, oh, I didn't like Acorna because that was more science fiction. I prefer fantasy. It's like, oh, well, I have, what's funny? When I'm at an actual convention, I don't act like this at all.
No, but that's why you do as we say and not as we do.
Right, exactly. It's like, because when I'm at a convention, it's like I have a really hard time with this. But the thing is, though, it's really like I don't force myself to practice.
Right.
I was at, just kind of like to end on this note as to like how much practice you really do need to practice this.
Right.
And the more you practice, you see, maybe now it would feel, Baltimore was a test that failed because nobody was there for me to really talk to. There wasn't, because I figured that by doing this online, and being streaming for 3 years, that I would have an easier time talking to people at conventions, but there was nobody there for me to test the theory. So, I mean, I'm able to talk to the people sitting next to me all day long, but I wasn't able to test my pitches at Baltimore. So you have to practice it, right? So I was at this convention with my sister. We were at a veterinary convention because she was doing a presentation. And the night before, she was practicing. She was up. She was pacing I was kind of sort of sleeping. I kind of caught her doing this. She was pacing the hotel room, and she was practicing her lecture. She had her cue cards, and she was practicing what she was going to say, and it's like, and sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to, if you're going to be doing conventions a lot, you have to get your pitch down, and sometimes you have to practice it. There's right. No, like I said, have your cue cards. Yeah. Well, but know enough of your book to be able to ad-lib it. Right? Something, yeah, I should follow my own advice. And I know for a fact Jose doesn't pay attention to any of this. He never really.
He's such a wild card.
He never pitches his books. He never pitches his books. But yeah, so whether you're online, selling your books online, you're at a convention, what is it that you want people to know you're for? Do you want them to remember you as being, oh, you're a crabby asshole? And mind you, I've done that at conventions myself too. It's like, there was a point that I was the crabby asshole at a convention. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, I don't believe it.
Yeah. So, because there was a stretch I hated going to conventions, and I didn't give a fuck. I still do. But now it's like I'm a lot more conscious about it. I'm a lot more conscious about it. But age, it's age and wisdom and all that stupid shit. But I'm telling you this so that you don't make my mistakes.
Be better and bigger.
Yeah, be better. Yes, be better. Go be better than how I was. Don't be a crabby bitch at a convention. So don't do that. Practice your pitch, put it on cue cards, get it. Like I said, if you want people excited about your book, you have to be excited about your book. So how do you get yourself pumped for your book? Try to get that through in your pitch, how excited you are.
Right.
Because if you're bored with your own book, why would I want to buy it? But conversely, don't be a used car salesman. Comics X says I pitched to a mirror. Yeah, no,
keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Not so I can see what I look, because I am so damn sexy.
Me too.
But you know what? But also, you know what? Either way, whatever works for you.
Right.
Confidence. If feeling sexy makes you confident at a convention, then by all means,
go for it.
Go for it. But yeah, so it's like, yeah, so pitch often, pitch well, practice your pitch, and it's like, yeah, and how people see you, whether it's online or at a convention, that's what they're going to remember. They're going to associate, whether you like it or not, they're going to associate you in your book.
Yes. You are your brand.
Right. You are your brand, so be conscious as to what your brand, because it has pictures, right? It's like, you want to buy a book? You want to buy a book? You want to buy a book? Right? But yeah, may you get the audience you deserve.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So any final thoughts? Final thoughts?
Tune in to the rest of our bullshit and everybody else's bullshit that we bring. There's that. Just hang tight. Like, share, and subscribe. Get those notifications
let's please do everything to please the algorithm gods. Short of a sacrifice. Right.
No limits.
Sacrifices then.
Yes.
There's a volcano somewhere. Oh my goodness. So thank you so much for joining us on this
Friday.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. What is it?
Right? It's so Monday.
Yes. It's like, is there a sketchy Saturday tomorrow?
Yes, there will be a sketchy Saturday tomorrow. Are you still coming?
I don't know. I think it depends on what
because we got a full fun panel coming.
Oh, that's good.
So
good.
It's gonna be great.
All right. So yeah, so again, thank you everybody. I hope you all have a really great weekend. Enjoy your holiday. It's like, yeah, don't poke jellyfish on the beach like this one.
Whoops.
It's like, but we had a fun time though. We had a fun time.
We did.
Mom says we have to go down again.
Okay.
So
I'm down for that.
Right.
Your mom fed me well.
Yes. So everybody have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Enjoy your holiday. And we will see you again. Actually, no, we will be joining you on Monday. Are we?
Yes, we will.
Okay, yeah. So we will be joined because we have nothing better to do.
Fuck you. We want you to be miserable. And we're gonna be sure that we're there.
We're going to be
making you know that you're not special.
Or maybe we're just going to keep everybody who still has to work anyway, because comics, we know no vacations doing comics. I have 10 more pages left on issue 13 of Ego Raven, so I got to get going on that. So I want to finish that before the end of the month. So so we will be joining you again on Monday, keeping you company on that Memorial Day weekend, Memorial Day holiday. So thank you so much. So if you want to learn more about me and my artwork and all my upcoming campaigns, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook. If you are interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress updates and more sneak peeks at the reason why you need to pledge to Nightwolf Volume 2 and sign up for Ego Raven Volume 2 on pre-launch, links are in the chat and in the show notes. And remember that you can also find me here on YouTube as well for 500 plus videos, a very large archive. Sometimes it amazes me of previous videos, time lapses, live streams, draw streams, the whole thing. If you missed an episode and you wanted to hear us repeat something that we talked about on this vlog, it's in the archive as well on my channel at Daphne Lage, L-A-G-E Art, where you can also join me for my semi-weekly art live streams Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 hours of me just drawing and talking with the chat like a convention, but without me having to pitch to you. So fun times, fun times. And remember that you can read Ego Raven Air the First Unicorn for free, uploading every day, Monday through Friday. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales. That's TAILSonline.com. And not only can you read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free, but you can catch up on the latest story arc, Tears the Mother, which is also currently uploading Monday through Friday. Thank you so much, everybody, again, for joining us. Have a great holiday. And remember, in the words of the ancients who never go on vacation, eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work. Because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. So thank you so much again, and we'll see you next time.
Toodles.
I got one. When I first heard about Dave being trapped in a maze, I was like, well, at least he's not sucking a big veiny dick for Kickstarter money.
That's not how